So I've been in this particular field, so I work in the information technology field, mostly like you, also responsible for digital transformation. So I've been working in this field for over 20 years now. The role has been mostly in the techno manager leadership as such, in digital transformation, intelligent automation, product management, and being in consulting, that we have to wear multiple hats. So I'm, happy, and also, it has been stressful at times, but more or less the feeling is of extreme gratitude that I've been able to wear these multiple hats effectively. Work. I started with being mostly in the telecommunications domain. So, over the period of time, I actually attained a reputation of being a domain expert. But now, since then, I've actually ventured into other domains as well, other industries like retail, insurance, CPG, finance domains. And I have a record of high scale projects, for major organizations, major clients, tier one clients in the world. I have a record of building high performance teams. And if you really
Mhm.
ask me what is my passion, right? So passion is essentially finding value in the digital transformation. So essentially helping businesses become future ready, aligning their technology with their strategic goals. And then the technology is just being an enabler. But essentially the core is finding value. How do we find value in their transformation?
So it sounds like value is the core principle of any digital transformation project. How do you find value?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, right? Because this is somewhere we always get lost. When we talk with multiple customers, they say that, okay, for example, a recent discussion that I had with my customer, they were just very much say insistent of leveraging a particular technology to improve their existing business processes. My first question was them is always that, okay, why this technology? Why do you want this technology? And then, we get answers that, okay, this is something that comes as a recommendation from our CIO, from our CTO. But you understand the core is that, okay, what is the value that this is going to provide them? So for me, I will try to find the value of, understanding how my work is going to impact the end user or the business customer that we are talking about. How are we making their lives easier? How are we trying to solve their day-to-day problems? Are we actually helping them, or are we just, adding some more technologies to, make the already complex architecture more, more even more complex?
Yeah, I have seen the pattern of companies chasing the next big thing, the next shiniest thing, without
Yes.
actually going through a feasibility study and understanding, well, do we need it? Do we even need this? But sounds like you have a very user-centric approach.
Yes.
You speak with the user and you dig deeper to understand what the user needs.
Absolutely, Sean. I think this is very, very integral, right? Because what we also see is that, I think things seem to be very, very basic to start with. We talk with customers, then how do we remove silos? How do we actually operate as a single, how do we have a global strategy for a company? I'll give you another example, or a recent manufacturing giant as such, one of its kind in the world. They really have no competition, but they're complex. Their architecture, application architecture is so complex right now. They will have 80 software requests every week, which is raised by different units. Can you believe? And it's really strange to believe, right? They have almost
Mhm.
180 different technologies. They have a single problem which is solved by different technologies right now. And you can easily see that, they what is really needed is taking a step back, understanding, okay, how do we want to evolve as a technology organization? And not necessarily using just technology to solve short-term problems, but looking at a long-term solution that, okay, what is it that we need? Then how do we, then everything falls into place. We are not then burning costs on licensing. We are not burning costs on doing the same kind of work by different people. There is some people
Mhm.
who are doing custom development, some people who are paying ridiculous amounts of license fees. And that's where I think the coherence actually makes sense.
Right, licensing fees, that's actually another interesting topic. A lot of companies, they are getting really creative with their marketing. They'll sell you a product and then don't tell you much about the licensing fees, or the initial business case doesn't really look at the licensing fees.
Yes, I think that's a totally valid observation, Sean, because I've worked with the product for some product companies as well. I've also been clients with who have been product companies, and I think they do operate in a similar way, and
Hmm.
especially as end clients, right? And this is where I think the consulting work can be a differentiator. For people like you and me, when we go to the customers and give them the real picture, right? Okay, right now this seems to be the next shiny thing for you, but we really don't know. We have worked with these customers, we have worked with these product companies. They really feel great right now, because they want to sell you, but the real cost that they are going to recover is going to be through the once the product is deployed, and it will be through the change requests. That's where they make real money.
Yeah, 100%. And one of the biggest problems I have with organizations is that they rely on the software salesperson as a consultant. They don't realize that, well, the software salesperson wants to sell you product. Uh, they have a vested interest in showing you a rosy perspective of their software package, but they're not going to tell you everything. And nowadays, with AI and how hyped it is, a lot of
Yeah.
these software vendors, they have solutions that uses just logic, pure logic, but they're trying to market their product as an AI product.
Hmm. Yes, absolutely. I think this AI hype cycle that's going on. So we all of us know that AI is no longer just a hype that, for example, what we saw with metaverse. So that is definitely not the case. It is definitely something which is going to live, and it is going to thrive, not just live. And we also know for sure that there are certain roles in our day-to-day lives which are definitely going to be replaced by AI. But it doesn't really mean that AI is like a silver bullet to all your solutions. That's where I think we as consultants, especially in the digital transformation space, we need to really understand what AI can actually do, how sustainable is our solution. Because I think you would agree with me, Sean. Right now, what we see about the different models that are being used, they seem to be great right now, and right now it seems to be cost effective. But we also know that it is just like the initial state of it. Soon AI is going to be unsustainable in its current form. Right now, just it is at a subsidized rate that we are using all these tokens. And then we also have to factor in the environmental impact of AI, which is also, we know that it is not great. So hence we have to pick and choose our cases, right? Definitely we have to choose AI where it will definitely make a big difference. But routine things, for I'll give you an example: classification. AI does a great job at classification. The number of requests that we get, we have to just classify them. But even for a human, it is not that difficult to do that. So that's
Mhm.
where I think that maybe we need to make an informed decision where to implement AI and where not to. So just to make sure that it is future ready, it is sustainable, and it will deliver the value that it is promised.
Right, 100%. 75% of digital transformation projects fail, and 95% of AI projects fail. Why do you think that happens?
I think it again boils down to the same things, right? Essentially, right now, what I feel is that people, it is like a FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. People don't want to lose on the AI bandwagon. They want to jump on it, and they just want to make sure that they are ready. I have spoken with multiple stakeholders who just want to make sure that they have implemented AI, they have their own AI framework, so that tomorrow their bosses or top bosses don't ask them that, okay, where are you with AI, and they don't have anything to show them. Obviously, I do understand all of us have been employees at certain point. We have to also, there are some KPIs that we need to figure it in. But if you think of a holistic place over here, that is where the problem is. We have to pick and choose the cases. We have to make sure that there is a solid business case for an AI use case to be successful in the long run, not just a short term win. That's such. For short terms, we have solutions shown in the market. Automation solutions are there. There are multiple things that we can do just by using automation, using uh, traditional digital transformation levers like APIs and some back-end integrations. And we should stop looking at AI as like a silver bullet to all our solutions, all our problems. Sorry.
Hmm. Right. Yes. Um, we can't just strip everything out and replace it with AI. Um, I can think of a lot of medical applications where certain AI systems still have an inherent bias, mostly because they were trained on data that had bias in it.
Mhm.
So I think instead of being overly excited and saying AI this and AI that, we'd really need to pump the brakes, take a step back, and say, okay, how does this help us achieve the goal as opposed to wanting to look trendy and look cool? Pilot projects are very important after
Yes.
a strong business case is established, and making sure that the software package or the AI system delivers the results that was promised. I think it's very important before a full-blown implementation is done.
Exactly.
And in a lot of situations, if a successful pilot project is not executed and the project or the software package is rolled out across the enterprise, and
Mhm.
then you find out you have a problem with it or it's not creating the results you want, well, that's got to be a very expensive fix.
Absolutely, I totally agree, Sean. And that's where I think there has to be an enterprise-wide AI strategy, AI framework. We need to have buy-in from those important stakeholders. Once we have this, then I think everything falls down in place. Then we know that there is executive sponsorship, there is governance kind of we have got a governance framework in which we know that the business cases, the value cases, the use cases are vetted out properly. They are actually assessed for how much value they are going to provide in long run, whether the investment matches the output. And that's where I think we will make sure that the our AI implementations in transformation space actually are going to bring value, and it's just not a tick mark that okay, yes, my department is also AI compliant.
How often do you see organizations investing in AI governance?
It is picking up. Okay, I will be honest that I don't think that the organizations did pay a lot of attention to this. It was mostly down to people in, who are enthusiastic about AI, who are doing certain things, and obviously who had budgets. But now I do see that there is a comprehensive need of investing a little bit more in AI governance. So that is where I think we have been approached by numerous clients on how to help us set up an AI factory for us. And when we are setting up a factory for them, we definitely have to figure in the governance and the architecture behind it, right? So, what does our governance team comprise of? Do we have the right amount of attention from the business side of things? Because technology is always there, but does the business also is the business also equally interested in all these activities? Do we have a value framework on how do we identify high value use cases for AI or automation? Are we vetting that particular value by a governance council that this is indeed maybe there are multiple implementations of this across the industry, not just this unit. And then finally we'll come down to converting that particular AI projects into products. So once we do a productization of AI initiatives, then everything follows the product life cycle that we have anyways
Mhm.
very well used to.
So a lot of I see a trend of legacy executives rebranding themselves as AI experts. Do you
Mhm.
think these individuals have the core competencies needed to have input into AI governance, or someone who is helping an organization with AI governance needs to have a much more in-depth understanding of how AI works?
That's a very interesting question, right, Sean? If I think about it is actually a combination of things, right? See, right now, because even though AI has been in the industry for quite some time, the concepts of having a AI governance for our organization, the concept of a responsible AI are not that well developed as such. Obviously, everybody now has offerings related to that, and that's where I really feel that there is a need of a specialist consultant, specialist teams who actually understand the length and breadth of AI to be involved. That doesn't mean that anybody who has the necessary kind of a business exposure, the domain exposure. I personally believe that our AI governance council should be multifaceted, not just AI experts, but also people who are also very much entrenched in the business needs, have access to end users. So, we are able to convert those business problems into solutions which may involve AI or may not involve AI. That will all depend on the governance that we set up, the framework that we set up, right? But yes, we definitely need experts in there, and not everybody is an expert. But at the same time, we also need domain experts. We also need user community representation. We also need the customer representation and customer representation in the governance council to make sure that the necessary value has been delivered.
What risks does an organization take on when they don't have an AI governance strategy?
Hmm. I think it is a big risk if you ask me, because I think the AI, with its inherent nature, is a continuously evolving ecosystem, and it is also self-governing ecosystem as such. It is, if at all, the input that is being fed to AI is not of the right quality, then we do stand at a risk on being over reliant on AI, and we are not really trusting their outputs as such. So we have to have a governance. We have to make sure that the responsible AI team is, making sure that the outputs are properly monitored. They have a certain kind of a testing strategy, and I think that is also a very interesting discussion, right, Sean? Because I was recently having a discussion with a colleague of mine on how do we test AI. Because, for example, as I said, if we say classifications, extractions, I think decision making, that is something that can have some finite outputs, and those could be tested properly. But for example, if we now say summarization, content generation, I don't think that there is a silver bullet again, that we know that traditional testing methods are going to work. So that is where I think we need to, maybe I'm sure that the industry is evolving towards it, on how do we identify the right kind of testing, what should be the right testing strategies for it. But everything boils down to, again, how do we define governance on what should be the quality gates essentially for AI solutions to be successful.
Does a poorly implemented AI solution open up an organization to cybersecurity risks as well?
Yes, it does. And again, the same things, right? Because it is a self-governing, self-evolving kind of a machine. And definitely, if it is not controlled properly, then we already know about hallucinations, on how the output cannot be always trusted. And that's where we have to have these quality gates. We have to vet the outputs out and make sure that there is always, I strongly believe in human in the loop component of AI. We have to have a human always to monitor how our automation or AI automation is working.
Right, yeah, especially in the healthcare industry, I think it's even from an ethical standpoint, it's always important to have a human sign off on the results. Because what if, God forbid, your AI came up with the wrong conclusions? Well, you need to be able to hold an individual accountable. You can't say, "Oh, sorry, it was the computer, it was the software, it was the AI."
Absolutely.
So that just underlines the importance of having a human in the loop. What kind of industries do you think right now are adopting AI faster than others?
I do see a lot of adoption in the healthcare industries. I do see some interest in the manufacturing side of things, but some industries which we were not really focusing on, right? So if you would have seen a latest trend of all the IT services companies. Late, I think if you would have observed that Capgemini recently acquired WNS, which is a BPO company, and we do see a lot of BPO companies getting acquired by IT companies right now. And that is a clear trend that we see, that the BPO industry is a very, very good candidate for AI adoption, because now we see that our Gen AI agents can actually do a very, very effective job of at least the level one kind of customer service support, in which we are at least able to provide the right kind of information. We are able to understand the request and maybe route it to the right kind of a person. So that is a significant cost reduction, significant savings of times.
Hmm.
That is, I think, a major trend that at least I see, because I've been working very closely with these industries.
Right. So if people want to find you, where can they find you?
Um, I can, you mean, find you as in I work with EPAM systems right now. I'm working in the intelligent automation space, and we are helping a number of clients, identify value, right? But yes, having said that, it is I still feel that even though the world is moving at a breakneck pace in terms of AI transformation, we have to take a step back and really understand,
Hmm.
okay, not everything is a AI solution. That is, I think, most of our customers want to hear that, okay, yeah, I have AI for you. But I think we as consultants, we really need to be prudent enough to understand what is the right fit, what is not.
100%. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I hope to be able to have you as a guest again pretty soon. Thank you so much.
I'm looking forward to it, Sean. Thanks a lot for your time, and have a nice weekend.
You too.